boom, 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 boom. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode. How's your New Year's resolutions going so far? Hopefully you haven't quit yet. I know that I came close to one of my goals, and that was the meditation goal. It is pretty hard to do it consistently on a daily basis. Okay, let's just put it that way. And if you've ever tried meditation, it is really difficult. Your mind goes crazy, and the whole goal of meditation, in my viewpoint, from the type of meditation I like to do, is quieting the mind, so that the mind can get still, and so you can have clarity in your thoughts. But not necessarily going to talk about meditation on this episode. I did write a brief outline, so I want to talk about a few things. Okay? One of them is I want to share some info with you from the book It Starts With Food. Next, I want to talk about the evolutionary pressure and why there's beauty in the struggle. Hashtag love yours. Hashtag J. Cole. And then I want to explain my props here. They have meanings. They are for something. So let's kick this off with It Starts With Food and the information that I wanted to share. Okay, this is a really good book. Again, my friend Steven recommended this to me, and It Starts With Food. It's a really good book. It's by Dallas Hartwig and Melissa Hartwig, and essentially it talks about food and what it does to you. And the information that I wanted to point out and share with y'all is regarding the hormones that take place when we're talking about food. Okay? So the first one I want to talk about is insulin. And I'm just going to read straight out from the book. It's an anabolic hormone. It's an anabolic hormone secreted by beta cells of the pancreas in response to ingestion of energy, most notably from carbohydrate. Insulin facilitates the moving of macronutrients, that's proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, from the bloodstream into the cells for immediate or future use, and coordinates the metabolic shift from predominantly burning one fuel source, like carbohydrates, to the other, fats. Chronically elevated insulin levels are correlated with leptin resistance and indirectly related to elevated cortisol levels, okay? So this is very, very important. I want to point out specifically the using of the energy. Insulin uses and coordinates the metabolic shift from predominantly burning one fuel source of carbohydrates to the other, fat. And this is very important because a lot of us are using carbohydrates, sugars, glucose as energy, and mostly reliant on that. And that's very dangerous because you're not shifting over to your fats in order to use fuel source. At least this is the way that I understand it. And from what I understand, when you are so heavily based on a carbohydrate, glucose use of energy, then you got fats. Then you got like fat stored, and you're not able to use your fat as energy. So essentially you have a lot. If you're fat, you have a lot of energy that is just being stored, and it's not being used because the insulin is not being able to make the metabolic shift from burning one fuel source, your carbohydrates, to the others, fat. Okay. Now, if that didn't make sense at all, I'm sorry. I apologize for just butchering that. And I'm not even going to go into this next one. I was going to talk about leptin, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk a little bit about cortisol. Cortisol is an important one. This is the stress hormone. The book says the stress hormone is cortisol. It's secreted from the adrenal glands to help the body recover from acute fight or flight stress response. We talked about this about last episode regarding the amygdala. It is secreted in response to low blood sugar, physical or psychosocial stress, intense and prolonged exercise, and sleep deprivation. Cortisol plays a key role in salt metabolism, blood pressure, immune function. That's having immunosuppressive and anti-inflammatory effects, and energy regulation. It raises blood sugar by stimulating glycogen breakdown. Chronically elevated cortisol promotes insulin resistance and tends to elevate leptin levels. So whatever the fuck that means, but cortisol is the stress hormone. So if you have a lot of cortisol, it's not a good thing. A lot about what this book talks about is balance. Balance. And I just wanted to point that out because going through this book is very helpful for me, because one of my goals is to try and get down to a lower body fat percentage. So I'm thinking to myself, I was like, hey, you know, I've been around 18% for a long time, body fat percentage, which is not horrible, but if I want to get to where I want to get to, I think I need to start burning more fat. That just makes sense. Building muscle, burning fat, and stop using so much carbohydrates, you know, bread and things like that, eating so much of that, because that turns down into sugars, right? And then your body uses that source, the glucose from the carbohydrate consumption, to burn energy, to use energy, and then the fat just gets stored. So I thought that was very, very important, and I wanted to share that. Okay? Then I wanted to move on to evolutionary pressure. Evolutionary pressure, bro. And why there's beauty in the struggle. I've been talking a lot about going out. I'm a single man. And for all those single men out there, and all for the single ladies, it's kind of tough. I feel meeting the right person. That's very tough, meeting the right person, let alone meeting a person who you can vibe with, who you can spend time with, who you can hang out with, and have a good time with. And I wanted to share this too. Back in the 1930s, this was from a Facebook video, okay? Back in the 1930s, people married for companionship. This is what this Facebook video was saying. They didn't marry for love. They didn't marry for different sorts of things. Primarily, it was, hey, let's get together and combine our resources because we need to work out as a team so we don't die because there's no food in the 1930s Great Depression times. Okay? That's like the 30s, 40s, and 50s slowly getting out of it. And then like in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, 90s or whatever, people started marrying for love. Okay, the food was there, the economy was doing all right, and love came into the picture. Lots of love stories, love movies, and that's the main reason why people married, according to this video, which kind of makes sense, I guess. But I can't really talk about then. I can talk about now. And what they're saying about now, why it's so difficult to have somebody that you can be married to and stay together with forever, is because not only are we looking for the companionship, you know, can you work well together with this person as a team? Not only are we looking for the love, but we're also looking for, can this person support me in my dreams and help me to develop myself in becoming the greatest version I can possibly be? Not only that, vice versa. Can I help this person be the best version of themselves? And that's, I feel, very relevant. At least that's what I feel. I need somebody that is going to support me in my goals and sees the vision that I have and wants to support that. And likewise, I feel like that's the same way for others as well. On top of the love, you know, on top of the physical attraction, on top of the companionship, on top of all of that, the struggle is real. So, for those who don't know my story, I was engaged and I was in a beautiful relationship for a very long time. It didn't work out. So, and it's strange too, because I felt like the evolutionary pressure that I'm talking about, I feel like I've been going through that. I was not the same person at 25 as I am now. I wasn't the same person at 25 as I was at 21. So I feel like I continue to grow, and I feel like I continue to get better. And that's why at this time, being single is beautiful, but at the same time, it is a struggle. Like, I enjoy being loved. I enjoy giving love, and to have a person who you can do that with on a daily basis and have support from and laugh with and get along with is something that's really amazing. And I enjoy that. And I haven't had that ever since I've been single. And I'll tell you what, it's a struggle. But at the same time, this is very important as well. When you're with somebody, you have to make sacrifices. You have to, because if you're going to work as a team, there's things that you need to work out with each other. There's compromises that need to be made out. So when you're single, you can dial in to what you are feeling, what you are wanting, and it's really a selfish time in your life that you can't afford to have when you're with somebody. Because if you're being selfish, obviously, and there's not any compromise, that relationship that you were in or the relationship that you are in right now is not going to work, most likely. But when you're by yourself, you can be selfish, because that's really all there is. So if you're single and you're having a hard time being single, or you're going through challenges, you're missing your significant other or whatever, here's the deal. Here's the deal, man. Here's the evolutionary pressure. You are supposed to become better. Bottom line. If somebody breaks up with you, or you break up with somebody, it's time to become better, because you're going to attract what you are. And if you are a person who's hurt, if you are a person who is bitter, if you're a person who is holding on to grudges, you're most likely going to attract some type of low-level person as well, because you're in that emotion, you're in that feeling, and you're reacting and conducting your day that way. So be careful for that. Try not to focus on that. Easier said than done. Yes, I know, but it's time to get better. Like, if you're a single person, it is time to get better. So you can dial in on yourself, look at yourself objectively and see what areas in your life that you're not comfortable with yourself, and then make the adjustments. And you can just keep on doing that and doing that and doing that. And I think that's why the meditation is so important as well, because you'll sit there and you'll close your eyes, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, and you start to try and meditate, focusing on your breath. Your eyes are closed. And then your mind starts to wander. You start to think about things that you need to do. You start to think about things that you did stupid in the past. You start to think about this, that, and it's very difficult to do that. But if you can look at yourself objectively and say where are the areas of your life which you are weak in, then you can start to make adjustments by identifying them, and then also taking some type of action in order to make yourself better. For example, if you're overweight, okay, I am overweight. I need to start eating better. I need to start going to the gym. For a simple example. Okay? And that's just one thing. And it's extremely beneficial, because if you can start to gain some momentum in a direction that is positive, that is forward moving, that is progressive, you are progressing in your life, then that high level of energy, that high level emotion of happiness, of peace, of joy, you can attract that. And that's where you want to be, for sure. Because then you're going to attract somebody who's more loving, who's in better shape, who looks better, who feels better. And then, you can become a super couple like Jay and Beyonce. Woo woo. Or Kanye and Kim. All right. That's a bad joke, but whatever. Um, yeah. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And finally, I want to explain my props. Okay, I have these books here. I have these books right here. I do read them. Okay, they're not just for props. You know, I have my computer, my microphone, my phone recording as well right here. And then I also have this little statue right here. I'm not Buddhist, and I don't know even if this is a Buddhist statue, but I bought this in Cambodia at a Buddhist temple, or originally Hindu, Angkor Wat in Cambodia. And I bought it because I was feeling an extreme sense of peace when I saw it. And regardless of the teachings of Buddhism, Buddhists tend to meditate, and that's what I like to do, so I could resonate with that. And that's why I have that. And every time I look at it, it reminds me, it's a reminder to, hey, it's okay. Be peaceful, no matter what's going on in my life. So that's that one. And I'm sure I'll have some more props, things like that later on. But as for right now, we're barely starting. And I wanted to share this song with you because I also have a guitar as a prop. You can't really see it. It's kind of like cut off right here. So, yeah. I could play the guitar, and it's just not a prop, People are like saying, "Hey man, you got the props right there. What's going on? Yada yada yada. You don't even read. You don't even meditate. You don't even play the guitar." I'm like, yeah, whatever. All right. So this is a song by Iron and Wine. It's called "Naked as We Came." She says, wake up, it's no use pretending. I'll keep stealing, breathing her. Birds are leaving over autumn's ending. One of us will die inside these arms. Eyes wide. Spread on ashes around the yard. She says, if I leave before you, darling, don't you waste me in the ground. I lay smiling like our sleeping children. One of us will die inside these arms. Eyes wide open, naked as we came. One will spread ashes around the yard. Yeah, so there's that one. And that's the end of this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you have a very, very nice day. Peace.